just give you a quick history of Mario. He lives in near Montreal, Quebec, and he studied guitar making with Irvin Samaji. He worked for Godin for several years, uh,
Also, Taku Sakashita.
and Taku, thank you. And Mario has had a long line of many apprentices who've gone on to be uh, great guitar makers, Keisuke Nishi, um, Luca Canturi, Donchev.
Cesaroni. Luca Cesaroni.
Oh, okay.
uh,
Doncho and
Michel
Michael Perrin.
Perrin.
Yeah. And I'm not sure who else I'm forgetting, but just the fact that you've had so many guitar makers that have been under your tutelage and come out to do great things, I think speaks volumes for you, not only as a teacher, but also as a guitar maker. And you make a wide variety of instruments, archtops, electrics, acoustics, and you're also very well known for certain pioneering features like the faceted design on your archtops, which we'll talk about. So, do you have anything to add at this point, or can we start right into the pictures?
Go for it.
Okay, Ian, I'm going to share a screen.
Let her rip.
Okay. Uh, Oops. Let's see here. Oops, I got to refresh it. Yeah.
And make sure Sharon's on. Yeah,
Okay.
you should be able to share.
Can everybody see that okay?
Yes.
All right.
Do you
Uh,
still want to be on the screen? Is that helpful?
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, so this is one of Mario's faceted designs, archtops, and we'll get into this, but these lines are both carved on the top and the underside of the top. And I am going to have to apologize. I had some problem uploading these photos and the scaling's a little bit screwed up, but so you'll have to bear with me. This is one of Mario's acoustics. What's the back and side wood on this one?
That's ebony, that pale moon ebony.
It's beautiful. Um, this is another one
That's
of,
that's kind of a little project that I have a friend of mine who's in a kind of a successful band. He's on tour quite a bit, and he's a marketing guy. He does a lot of photography and he does a lot of the websites.
mhm.
So I just delivered that just before Christmas, and this was just a quick run, just for fun to see kind of the lighting where we would go. And basically made him a flying V, the first one I've ever done. I had a lot of fun doing it, and in exchange of him developing my website, because my website is absolutely horrible right now, so
All right.
outdated. So yeah, he's going to be working on my website this year.
Nice. Is this a satin gold flake?
No, it isn't. But we were working. He was having fun with reflection and
Ah,
non-reflections, and we were just playing around.
okay. Really nice touch of the binding here underneath the top. And again, one of your great acoustics. And um, I don't know if we can,
Yeah, that was a play. Yeah, you don't see the whole thing though.
yeah. Uh, all right. Well, I'll come back to this, but this is also one of Mario's innovative designs. And I'm assuming this is your shop.
That's the shop.
Okay. And this is a shop at your house or commercial
Yeah,
space?
it's on my property, and again, you can't see the whole thing, but you can see right at the door. There's kind of a pool too, and it's kind of the pool is kind of in between the shop and the house. And the shop is over 100 years old. It's an old stable,
Hmm.
that I converted, and it's on 2 floors, and I have about, I think it's like 24 by 31 or 32, something like that, on 2 floors.
Okay. Can you
Michael,
tell us?
Michael,
Yeah.
are we not seeing the full screen because it's you're zoomed in? If you hit those three dots in the upper right hand corner of your browser, just
Yeah.
if we could just double check that and make sure that you're not like at 200% on the upper
Okay.
right hand side of the screen. Yeah, there.
Here.
Yeah. What's
Uh,
your zoom level? Oh, 33%. Try
yeah,
going up
I'm not.
try going up to 100%. Sometimes it bugs out down there.
Okay. Hold on.
Or maybe that image is just cropped.
Yeah. No, something bad was happening with my, all right. Let's see. Now we're on to something completely different.
I'm sorry, I flew too close to the sun there.
Yeah. Uh, let's see here. You didn't know who you were dealing with here.
Oh, it's okay. Do you wanna send me the can you send me the document?
Yeah, I'm gonna send you a text link to the photo album.
Send it to my email just so I can get it on my computer.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna stop sharing. Uh, while I'm doing this, if anybody has any questions, I'd like to hear more about the pool, Mario, personally.
Yeah, well,
There's a
the whole
pool.
property, I bought the property about 22 years ago, and I completely rebuilt everything. Rebuilt the house, rebuilt, it's an 1845. So it was built in 1845,
Wow.
and yeah, completely rebuilt everything. Added all the beams, did all the flooring, lift the house up to the basement, and opened up the second floor, did the kitchen, did everything. And redid the whole, did the same thing with the shop. I actually lifted it so I can have a heated floor. So yeah, 22 years now that I've been here.
All right.
So it's one of those things, when you put yourself into your property. At first, I never did it with the idea of flipping it, or making money out of it. I just wanted to do something that I would be comfortable and would call my own. And the more you put into it, you put your, blood, sweat, and tears into it. At one point, you can't even imagine moving away, or selling it. So, and now it's become like it's gonna be my kids. It's all for my kids now.
Hmm.
It's what I leave my kids.
Yeah.
So.
Ian, I sent that link off to you. So, Mario, how do you deal with the cold winters and building and spraying guitars?
Oh, it's everything is controlled. I have humidity and temperature control. So I keep everything at between 19 to 20 degrees Celsius.
Mhm.
And my humidity is anywhere between 42 to 50.
All right. And do you have are you able to heat the air as it comes in for when you're spraying?
That's the beauty about the floor being heated.
Hmm.
So it doesn't dry the um, the air like a fan would, or a baseboard or whatever would.
Okay.
Um, it's actually very easy to control. And I have a dry room and I have a drying room. So I spray and I put it in my dry room, and it's controlled.
Nice. All right. Well, it looks like a beautiful shop. So, it seems like Ian got us up and running again. And we can go to the next photo. Um, so
So,
before we get into the facets, I just wanted to mention that please, if anybody has any questions, just go ahead and blurt them out or put them in the chat, and we will proceed that way. So Mario, when did you start doing these faceted arch tops, and what was the main kind of idea behind it when you first started doing it?
well, the facet, I think the first one I did was at the second Montreal guitar show, which was probably, I think it was 2008, I believe. Yeah, I think so. It was 2008. And the picture that you're seeing right now, that's the third version of it. So the first version, uh, the facet, if you look on the inside of the facet, you'll see where the area where the F holes are. That's a bit lower. And the first one, it wasn't. It was all the facets were equal.
Mhm.
So the ones on the insides are actually carved in a little bit. So you get not quite at the highest point of the facet, probably have close to about 1/8 of a drop. And the second version was the one with the sound hole and inside the facets, like you showed on the first facet you showed.
Okay, Ian, can you advance another picture? Oh, that might have been back. Yeah, yeah, other way.
This way?
Yes.
I think it's the other way.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's the other way.
Which way?
No, you just had it. Pay no attention to Mario,
This
despite what
one?
he says. Yeah.
Okay.
So Mario, I just kind of grouped all the faceted pictures into um, one group here. So uh, now, do you have to start with a thicker plates than you would on a normal arch top?
Okay, I start carving just like a regular arch top. And I think I do have to put a picture. If you put the whole screen of all the pictures, you'll see
Yeah, if you
I put a blank.
okay, if you those pictures are coming up real soon. If you move forward a few more pictures, Ian, they'll come up.
Say when.
Okay, yeah, see, there you go. So those are basically the tools that I use. That's it. That and my grinder.
Ah,
Whoa.
okay.
Yeah, this is my best friend. I carve a lot of shit with this. And it looks scary when you first look at it, but I'm so used to it. I've been using this thing for over 20 years, and it's just like you can do whatever you want with it once you get the hang of it. And so what I do is I prepare the top. I carved the top like a regular arch top, and then I do all my deflection thing with my spruce block and all that, and then I figure out where around the nodal points are, and then I will draw the facets around that, and then I make like a cardboard template of the facets. Like I do a full arc from the lower bout to the upper bout, and that's
Mhm.
for that axe. And then the other two, I have two different ones to draw the inside. The reason I do that is I'm constantly redrawing it, because while you're working on it, your lines just disappear. So you just keep, with your measurements, your point measurements and all that, you just redraw it and work at it, make sure the lines are always fresh. That's why I do
Okay.
it that way. So
And
basically, I carve the top like a regular arch top, almost to it's done, and then I carve in the facets.
All right. A couple questions about that. One is you mentioned that you put the lines along the nodal points. So are you vibrating the top with like glitter to determine that,
Oh,
or
that's easy to find. You just tap tone and you find it right away.
okay.
It's just where it's activated and everything. That's kind of that's the easy part actually. And the reason of the facet is that the original idea was like, um, it's the ridge because it's carved inside and out. So the inside follows the ridge, the facet, the summit. So I always try to picture it this way. You take a flimsy piece of metal, like a sheet metal, like you look at uh, cars, hoods, or doors, or whatever. When you put a pleat in a flimsy piece of sheet metal, what does it do? It um, it's exponential. It stiffens up the panel. And this is actually it does that. It actually stiffs up the top the plates, and that way
Mhm.
I can go a little further in tuning and carving in thickness. So I can actually it permits me to make the plate way more nervous. So you don't get that honky mid range that you usually get with a standard arch top. And yeah, it permits me to make the instrument a lot more nervous, a lot more responsive actually.
Okay.
And it doesn't
Uh,
and it doesn't and it keeps the integrity, the structural integrity. And as we all know, the best judge of if it works or not, if it's efficient or not, it's time. And I'm looking at guitars that I've done over 12 years ago, and they're still like nothing moved. So
yeah. Um, do you have any tips on scraping spruce? I, I see you've got your little scrapers there, and spruce can sometimes be difficult to scrape cleanly.
yeah, well, first of all, sharp, very, very sharp. I'm constantly sharpening my scrapers. And try to. I'm very picky about the runouts, So, but when you carve a top, it's not like a flat top. Flat top, you have no runout, then you're fine. When an arch top, you got the block, you don't have any runouts, but once you carve, you create that because you're
Mhm.
cutting into the grain. So it's just figuring out the direction of your grain. When you start scraping and it instead of glossing over, it starts ripping. You just work with the angle of the grain, constantly.
Yeah. And the scrapers you're using, would you describe them as fairly thin and flexible, or are they
Yeah,
more
they
solid?
are. Yeah, those are. And then I have the Stu Mac. You know there's
Yeah,
two
the really
size.
thick one.
The really
Yeah.
thick one. I absolutely love those. I love those things. And people ask me, yeah, but they're great when you buy them, but I don't know how to sharpen them because they're hardened steel and all that. And you have to use the I use the Tormek, I think it's called.
Yeah. Hmm.
The sharpening tool, the stone, and that's how I sharpen them.
Yeah. I really
I
like
mean,
those as well.
oh yeah, I couldn't live without them.
Yeah. Ian, you want to move to the next picture? And
Michael, we missed some pictures too, didn't we? I
I don't think we did. Um,
feel like we missed. Can I just go back? Just
sure. Yeah.
so
Oh,
there's
there you
some of
go.
the scrapers.
Yeah, those are the scrapers. Yeah.
Were these in any particular order? Do we want to talk about the back too, or
So
Uh,
basically what I've done for, if you go back one more, the one with the F holes. Yeah. So I went from the original one with all the facet on the same level, um, to the one with the sound hole inside the facets. And then I had to do kind of a sound port type of thing because there wasn't enough decompression in the box. I mean, air was not moving enough. So I had to balance it with like a side port. So I basically combined the first version, the second version, what I've learned from both to this version. And this one so far, I'm really, really happy with that one. I redesigned my F holes, and I'm really, really, really happy with this one. And what I found is that when I bring the center part down, it seems to to react really well to the down pressure of the bridge.
Cool.
So yeah, I really like that version the
I got
best.
a quick question here.
Yep.
Mario, is there any connection between you and Mario Lamar?
Yeah, well, I actually we applied for art council many years ago. We did a research together with on the guitar because Mario and I, we've known each other for, man, I've known him for over 30 years, I think.
Okay.
And Mario actually did, if you read my description, and everywhere we talk about the facet, where I always talk about that. And that's actually a concept that was applied in the quartet instrument, like violins, and especially double bass and violins. And, Mario and I, we kept going back and forth. And once I told him, I said, you should try guitar with that, And he says, well, I thought you're the one who makes guitars. So why don't you do it? So we basically applied for a R&D, like a research and development grant from the Art Council, and we both got it. And we worked together on it. And then we had an agreement. We have like a copyright on it, and there's an agreement, a business agreement on it. And then I took off, and I just went on my own and developed things on my own.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, Mario Lamar, as far as I'm concerned, he's, of all the luthiers I've met, he's one of the greatest luthier still alive. And I've learned a great deal carving from him, quite a bit.
Yeah, for anybody who hasn't seen his work, go check it out. His scroll carving and stuff is absolutely out of this world.
Yeah, it's insane. His work is insane. So this is actually, the red one is actually, that's the original one. If you can see that, there's no carving inside. So, and this was a restoration. It was an original red one. And I put a picture where the damage was, and I completely.
Yeah, that's coming up a little bit later in the slides.
Yeah, so I completely restored that guitar. It's kind of a nightmare.
Michael, you want me to keep moving forward?
Yeah. Let's get back to the picture of where the router is. And Mario, I wasn't sure if this was part of your faceting process or this is just your binding setup.
That's my binding setup. Yeah,
Okay.
That's an arm that I built, I machined, and been working great.
Yeah, looks nice.
Oh.
Looks heavy.
It is heavy, and the thing is, I'm supposed to have these suspension on it, and never did. It's one of those projects that it's 90% complete.
Yeah.
But it's one of the things. Hey, it works fine, and I just need a little tweaking, for the suspension, for the weight. But I got so used to it that I never bothered. doing it.
Okay. And for the bit, are you just using an offset bearing on
Yeah, just that kit
usually?
that the LMI used to sell, like
Okay.
with the bearing
Yeah.
under. Yeah.
All right. And then Ian, we can go to the next picture.
There you go.
And yeah, what's
See,
going on here?
well, see, that's the beginning. That's when I'm starting to carve the
Okay.
facets.
And are we seeing the marks from the grinder?
Nope, no, that's all just chipping it away. Once it was carved, like almost to finish. Like a
Mhm.
regular arch top, and then I go back into it like this um, to create my facets.
Okay. And we had a question in the chat. If you could show the grinder again that you were using.
Chainsaw.
Yeah. All right.
So I think you can still buy these in the States, but they're not legal in Canada.
Did somebody get murdered?
I don't know. I think it's
Oh,
too dangerous.
all right. And then is carving the back uh, it really different than what you do on the top, or is it basically the same?
No, this is the rough cut. What I just put that picture because it's just to show the rough part of it, like that's the
Mhm.
beginning of it, and then you refined it, and the interior is not done yet. The inside
Hmm.
is not emptied yet. So I finish everything to my liking, and then I empty everything, and then I voice it.
Okay. Uh, Next picture. And what are we looking at here?
See, that's one that's almost from the rough cut to this, and then I still need to refine. So
Okay,
it goes from rough to that to final finish.
gotcha. And when you get in the into the finishing stage, does the either applying finish on the ridges or rubbing them out present any challenges?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I spray my color. I don't rub the color. I spray the color. And when I level and buff, I do it very, very carefully. Because if I cut through, I'm done. That's it. I have to start over.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's you have to be very, very careful, especially at the points. The points that's where you have to be super careful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can't. It takes me twice the amount of time to buff because I have to buff it very slow, and I have to avoid heat, when you're buffing, because that's what cuts through. It's when it starts heating too much because you're
Hmm.
you're spending too much time at one area. So I'm constantly in movement, with the guitar, constantly moving it. I don't
Yeah.
concentrate on that one area because if I do, that's when you cut through.
Okay. Um, Now, how much longer do you estimate building a faceted archtop takes you overall versus a non-faceted one?
Twice the amount of time.
Oh, do you charge twice as much?
Yeah,
You should. So,
yeah.
all right. We
But
can
it's
go to the
it
next.
takes a long time. I mean, it takes a long time for people to accept it, and I thought it's kind of funny because I had that conversation many times with Mario, and Mario has the same situation. It's when you think a little bit out of the box and you don't do the traditional way. It takes a long time, and it takes a specific client to get it or to 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 reach a certain. You can't reach everybody. And I thought with my conversation I had with Mario, we thought that the guitar world, the archtop world, would be way more open, and it's not. It's actually very, very closed minded.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's very, it's about the L5 and Super 400, and that's what it is,
Yeah.
and then maybe with the Quisto, but yeah, it's very
Hmm.
so it
So,
takes a long time. It's starting to take off as people are starting to accept it, I think.
yeah. And do you have any, like you're, as far as I know, you're the only builder doing this on guitars, art shops. Um, do you have any intellectual protection on the idea, or could somebody
Yeah,
else take?
yeah, through Mario Lamar, we have a copyright on it.
All right.
So yeah.
Um, and let's see, next picture, Ian. Okay. And what are we looking at here, Mario?
Oh, just a regular top, from you know, carving the regular top, then going to the rough I was showing you, the
Mhm.
facet, and then to a little bit more refined, and then you just go, you refine even more and more and more each step, so.
Okay. And do you have a preference for species of spruce?
Uh, Not really, to be honest with you. You know, I like to one of those guys I like to work with the wood that's in front of me. It's I respect that I try to understand and manipulate the limits of the material and what I can do with it. And I'm trying to understand, the personality of that wood, like Sitka versus to I don't know, European spruce, or even to cedar, to redwood. They all have their personality and have different deflections and
Mhm.
different numbers. So you work with, and then you base your work on your experience. And I always try to get my signature through whatever material I use. So yeah, that's why it's always been very important to me. Like, I know it's become a cliche. You hear everybody saying it nowadays, but it's, to me, my priority was the sound and the playability of the instrument. That's why I don't do a lot of inlays and everything. For me, it has to it has to serve the design has to serve the instrument. It has to be efficient. It's about efficiency also. So um, it's trying to find your signature and trying to understand what you're doing. It's a constant uh, adventure. It's an odyssey, and and I think that's what turns me on. I mean, that's what always attracted me to guitar making, was the idea of trying to understand the material, the physics of the material, and so you can manipulate the sound to what your idea is, you know. And I don't try to copy something, I just try to create uh, my idea, my perception, my observation, my so it's gonna some people are gonna like it, some people won't, and it's part of the game. But I think that whole process is what I think is the most exciting process of it. Because learning how to build a guitar, for me, it's kind of the easy part. I mean, we see it, how many of us have seen guys coming out, I mean, their first guitars, if they're well tutored, I mean, some of those guitars, man, it's like, whoa. And especially nowadays, you see these first guitars, and they're very impressive how they're built. So the mechanical part of it, I mean, the assembly, how to do miters and glue joints and whatever. To me, that's the easy part. The hard part is to understand the material. So
Yeah, it seems least in my experience, that only comes with experience.
Yeah, and even with experience, sometimes you think Eureka, I think I got it. I'm on a good trail here. I think I got it. I got it down. Something happens and like there goes the idea.
Yeah.
It's so that's why I never, there's a French saying, vérité absolue, the absolute truth or whatever. I don't know if that's applicable in this way, but nobody has that, you know. Nobody has the absolute truth when it comes to what we do. So I'm just trying to learn. And the other thing I think that we tend to forget is we change. Our hearing change, our perception changes. We get older, we don't see life the same way, we don't hear things the same way, we don't look at things the same way. So it's a constant adaptation and a constant evolution.
Mhm.
And that's why I love seeing old guitars that I've done like 15, 18 years ago. To me, it's like it's one of the it's a gift, because then you get to experience and see your own evolution as a guitar builder. You know?
Yeah, well, some evolutions are more pretty than others. Um,
Yeah, but it's fun. It
but
it
I'm
it comes with the
talking,
territory. You got to own it.
that's
We all
true.
we all made mistakes. We all did stupid choices, and we gotta, as long as you learn from it.
Yeah. All right. There's a question from Bohannon. Could you describe the difference between a good and a bad archtop guitar?
Well, my answer will be different from another, and then another. Each person has their own perception of that. Um, eh, to me, it has to be. I know it's all sound cliche, but balance. It's got to be balance. Everything. The voices are going to be balanced. No dead notes. Got to be nervous. It's got to be. Yeah. And it has to be. I look at it like a racing car. It's got to be performing. It's got to setup's got to be top notch. Because you can break or make an instrument just from the setups.
Mhm.
So yeah. So, and to say, it's like saying what's a good pickup and what's a bad pickup. Depends. I like blue, you like red. It's just that's kind of a double-edged sword question.
Okay. So what's the difference between a good question and a bad question?
A good
I just
question.
joking.
I can answer.
I just joking around. But all right, let's move on to the next slide here. I
You've
think
seen
we've
that
we've
one?
seen that one
Yeah.
many times.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the MB. I only did one of those. I just wanted
Ah,
to see if I could do it. So
yeah. What's the fingerboard material looks kind of light, or is that just the picture?
yeah, it's just a picture.
Oh, okay. And if you have anything to share about this guitar, that's fine. If not, we can just move on.
I was just I wanted to have fun, make something funky. And
Like,
the pickup cover is pretty cool. It's actually we did a like an old microphone
hmm
and well, as a cover. If you look at it, I don't know if you can get it closer, but anyway, it looks like an old microphone.
yeah. And I should point out that the F holes or the holes they're built into this the
Yeah,
side of the facet.
yeah, yeah,
Can everybody see that there?
yeah.
I don't
Well,
know if you can put your cursor over it, Ian, but these dark lines, they're kind of
and-
in they might look like a shadow.
yeah,
Yeah,
there you
right
go.
there.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, those that's more like an electric guitar though. I mean, it's
Yeah,
empty, it's all empty, carved top, carved back. But yeah, it's consider it like a semi-hollow type of thing.
yeah. All right. Same guitar. We'll keep moving forward here. It's kind of an interesting effect with the binding or the purfling channel being so far in from the edge and a big roundover. What kind of
Well,
methodology did you
okay.
use to get that?
So the rims on all the MBs, the rims are done separately, of course, and it's like think of it like a bicycle tire. It's like convex, concave, convex. So the walls are actually maybe 1/8 thick, you know.
Mhm.
And so you do like a round, and on the inside, it has like a step, like an edge. So you carve a top, you carve a back, and then you inlay the back into the rims.
Hmm.
And the purfling is where the glue joint is, where the joint is. So then you go back in and you just open it up and then you put in your purfling.
Yeah, it's a nice look. So, uh, next slide, Ian. And then Mario, I think I've got these grouped together correctly. I'll let you kind of describe
Well,
this
let's see
whole
if you
process and
well
when to
look,
go. Next slide.
let's see if you have one finished. You have the piece
Uh,
finished.
yeah, those are at the end.
Ah, okay. Oh, there you
I
go.
mean, yeah, of
Okay,
this
okay,
section.
there you go. There you go. Okay. So this piece actually it started from a very well-known archtop maker, which I'm not gonna name, but anyway, a client of mine, we had a common client and he was having problems with the tailpiece. And he wanted the pin system. So I called the builder and asked him permission to do this, but I wanted to do it in a way that it would not I wouldn't intervene with the construction of the instrument itself. I did not want to modify the instrument itself. So I actually modified the only the tailpiece on the guitar, which can be I made it so you could reverse the the modification. So nothing on the outside, nothing was touched. So I came up with this idea, and then it ended up working out really, really well. And so I've been asked from different builders because now with this piece, you can, if a client likes the idea of the pin thing, like I do, like Ken Parker, a couple of us do, you can actually uh, use the pin system without modifying or destroying the guitar to drill the pin in and all that stuff. So you can just have this made, put it on, and then just put the tailpiece on it. That's it. It's done.
Yeah. Could you go back a couple of pictures and walk us through the process of how you made this?
Yeah. So basically, I just cut all the metal plate, drilled. We turn that little pin, and then start working on it. Did the slotting, the bending, and once it's done, if you move it a little bit further, the pin goes into the smaller, yeah, like this, and then that's welded, and then it's bent to the angle that you need.
Is that a cold bend or did you use heat to bend that?
That's with heat, yeah.
Okay.
And then it's dipped after that, and then but before I do that, I machine, you machine the slots for sliding up and down. And then I brought it to you can see the little bit of the end of the tailpiece on the left, which on the underneath I changed underneath, but you can actually bring it to the original version. And then I bring it to there's a plate guy that I use because I also work on motorcycles. So it's the guy that plates all our stuff on motorcycle, and he did the gold plating for me on the
And
last piece.
how did you choose the type of metal that you used?
I just used a steel plate that that I do all my work with. So just I go to
Okay.
the metal shop and I just buy these plates and just cut through them.
And you have a milling machine to do the work?
A friend of mine does, yeah. That's
Uh,
where, yeah. So I have access to it. So
Nice. And does the tailpiece hook on to the pin with a cable, or does the pin actually fit on the underside of the tailpiece, like in a notch?
say that again.
So how does the tailpiece connect to the pin?
Okay. Underneath, what I do is underneath, usually you can have the Bob Benedetto type of design, or you can have the wedge like Tom Rebecca does. In this case, it was like the Benedetto thing. So what I do
Mhm.
is I remove the little block and I insert. I do a cavity and I do an insert of a metal that it's just a little like a little moon shape piece
Yeah,
that I insert and I screw it in and glue it in, and but that can be removed and then you can just fill the hole if you decide to bring it back to the original version. So and that just sits on top and it just clicks on the pin, as you can see the pin there. It just clicks right on it.
okay. And is the tailpiece able to rock like slightly side to side on the pin?
Yeah, but it just follows a natural. It's surprising. It doesn't kink on either side. It's actually fairly stable.
Mhm.
Because the also the reference pin, the pivot is it's very very centered. So and I had I was afraid of the tension of the string that would rock but it doesn't. So I guess it's a lucky thing, but it doesn't.
Yeah. All right. Uh, Ian, you want to move forward?
And it does a really nice job for plating,
Yeah.
and it's really high quality. You can see it's see that's what that was on another piece that was um, modified.
Hmm. And so in terms of the acoustics of the instrument, do you find that like this setup compared to the Benedetto, is there something about how the tailpiece is anchored that's actually making an audible difference in the
Yeah,
guitar?
yeah. Well, you know, uh, the Benedetto thing is like a nylon type of core, a
Hmm.
nylon thing. There's a big difference between nylon and metal on metal, you know. So I prefer the sound of this thing much
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
And are you using this type of tailpiece on all your guitars?
Well, yeah, but I don't use the metal piece like that. I it's part of my build. It's inside the ed block.
Okay.
And the way I ground everything is I have an insert, and since the jack comes right underneath, once everything is inserted, I drill right through to go and reach the jack, and then you drop a spring in there, and then you screw back your pin down, so everything is grounded right away. So it's pretty cool, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's a
So
nice
there's no
idea.
there's no wires, no drilling, nothing, so.
Mhm. All right. Anybody have any questions to this point?
Uh,
All right.
Mario, aesthetically, do you have any like design inspirations that you're pulling from? Maybe Michael, did you already ask him that? I can't remember.
I have not.
Yeah,
Any
man.
any shapes that
Well,
you were kind of thinking about when you started this path?
everything around me, everything inspires me. Everything. It can be a car, it can be a bike, it can be a building, it can be anything. It can be a door, it can be a chair, it can be anything. Lines. I just love lines, and I like uh simplified line. I like purity of lines. And I'm a fan of Art Deco and a little bit of Art Nouveau. You know, I like that kind of the organic part of the Art Nouveau thing, and I like the angular stuff of the Art Deco. But no, everything inspires me. Sometimes I can watch a movie or something, and then in the background you see part of the decor, like part of the background. Sometimes I would pause something to go and look at behind. There's something that attracted my eye, and it can trigger some ideas. And yeah, I'm inspired. Oof, everything that surrounds me. Um,
Thank
and
you.
and a lot of the younger people too. I mean, the younger builders. You can see the influence that most of the older guys have, but I kind of like the twist and the curve that they throw at us. And I find it very inspiring. Yeah, a never-ending story.
Uh-huh.
All right, next slide. And so Mario, this is your MB model?
That's another. I like to allow myself at least one project a year or every 2 years to just no holds barred. Like I kind of I don't follow any rules or anything like that. I just have fun. I just experiment. So like on the white one, you can see where on the side, the black area, those are sound holes. And the top and the back are mounted from the inside. And I know it's wacky, but I just thought just for fun. I was just experimenting and having fun. And it's one of those one-off piece that I do. I actually made two or three of those, but because I was asked to do more, but it's just an experimenting thing, it's just having fun.
Yeah, I think I first saw that guitar at NAMM.
Well, that's what I did it
Yeah.
for.
Oh,
And
okay.
actually, like that type of thinking of having fun and just trying I've got that a lot from the Europeans, my European builder friends. Like the Jean-Yves Alquier and the Tao guitars and Claudio Pagelli and that funky side of the Europeans. I kind of got influenced a lot by that. 'Cause I kind of like their adventurous approach.
Yeah, that's all that socialized medicine, I think is what's down there. Well,
Well,
all right. Yeah, this was a stunning guitar, really. I mean, it's beautiful in this picture, but to see it when I saw it uh, in the flesh, so to speak, it was really striking.
it's kind of funny because at NAMM, there was a very well-known architect that was walking around, and he actually absolutely fell in love with that guitar.
Hmm.
And for me, it was kind of a little, I don't know, it was flattering, to have a heavyweight architect liking the design of this. I thought, I don't know, kind of
Yeah, sure.
yeah, it strokes your ego a little bit.
All right. We got some good questions in the chat about this guitar. Uh, Isaac wants to know, how do you mask the sound hole during finish? Seems tricky.
Well, there's a baffle system inside, so I'm able to just come in with. I have I come in with tapes and everything, and I go and tape the inside of it. So the whole interior of the sound hole has a backing like a baffle. So I go tape the baffle with
Mhm.
with tweezers, and I cut the tape, and you know that's how I do it.
All right. And the next question is, have you found that the experimental guitars are harder to sell?
Oh, That's a good question, actually. I think I mentioned that a little earlier with the facet. There's a client for it. You have to find the right client for it. Like I wouldn't go with on the mass production thing with this thing. I probably fall right on my face. But yeah, it's just it's one of those things. It's like when you look at what the Michi Matsuda does, he does these off one thing and everything, and people dig it, and he finds the right client for it. And that's how you have to approach when you do something like that. You can't say, "Oh, I'm doing this and I have to sell it." If you
Mhm.
sell it, you sell it, and if you don't, you don't. It's the exercise of doing it that's important. And it happened that they sell, so fine. But yeah, you have to find the right client for it. Absolutely. So they're not lining up to buy these things.
Yeah. All right. We can move forward. I think there's several more pictures of the details of this guitar. And really like that, what you've done
Can we
there.
talk about that for a second? That seems pretty stunning.
That was actually fun. Yeah. Actually,
Is
that little curve, the inside and that's all carved in, and it's part of the rim. That's what's carved in the rim. And in the center, that's where the block is that that the tailpiece sits on.
Mario, am I wrong? I mean, you do have like a lot of industrial design. When I saw this guitar, I kind of thought of maybe like some of the modern electric Porsches or something. Is that kind of, am I wrong in thinking maybe that they share an element or?
I find that interesting that you say that, because I do a lot of I love mechanics. I love motorcycles. I love car designs and everything. So it comes down to, everything I see, everything that surrounds me affects me. And I see something in everything. But I kind of like that you brought that up. Yeah, I guess there is an element of that kind of the Porsche thing type of thing. Yeah, it's, 'cause I'm
Well,
looking at it and I'm trying to remember, because I'm looking at the picture, I'm trying to remember, okay, how did that come about, and sometimes it comes in as a flash. A lot of the time I improvise as I go along. Like this one was like that. A lot of it is as I go along. And sometimes it's because some of those designs sometimes come out of a mistake. I made a mistake and then I just work it into a design.
cool.
So,
And then along those lines, there's a question from Paul. Are you drawing stuff out?
nope.
Okay. Unequivocal. I've got a
Well,
question
well,
about,
okay. That's not 100% correct. I don't draw with all the measurements and everything. I sketch. I will sketch, but I will do, like these type of pencil sketch, these kind of like children drawing type of thing, just to get me a direction, and then I just go.
yeah. I've got a couple, or I've got a question about spraying the opaque white finish. Are you like treating the wood, or are you putting all the color between the layers of finish?
Well, I just use a sealer,
Mhm.
and then I do the paint, and it's a bitch. Because if
Mm.
there's one little speck of dust, you know. So I wear a full mask because of my beard, wear a full mask. I wear a beanie, I wear a suit, wear gloves. And one of the trick I've got that from custom cars and motorcycle painters. One of the tricks that you do before you spray, especially white and stuff like that, before you do any spraying, you clean up your shop, of course, and all that. But what you have to do is you wet a little bit of your walls and your floor.
Hmm.
You actually put you damp it. You put in water. You spray and that way you have no dust at all.
Okay. Is your spray booth three-sided or is it fully enclosed?
Fully enclosed.
Okay. Um, and then your beard is almost the right color though, that if you did get a hair in there, it might just blend in.
Trust me, it happened when you're just at the end.
Okay.
It's a pain in the ass. No, white is probably the worst. It's the worst color to spray. It's the best color to buff.
Hmm. All right. Next picture, Ian. And we can just keep moving forward until Mario wants to stop. And
There's that's the other version that I did.
hmm.
With that's a pickup from Duneland Lab, Bob. And I've just used that on an arch top also. And so far of all the pickups I've tried, they're just killer. These are the best sounding pickups I've ever tried, I ever played with.
Okay. Is there anything really novel or different about those pickups, or
Just the
it
way he
just
builds them. Yeah.
yeah.
The third, he does everything for a winded third. And he also does the pickups for Ken Parker for bronze strings.
Hmm.
So yeah, the guy knows what he's doing, and they
Yeah.
sound great. They sound amazing. Not cheap, but they sound great. So for all you guys out there, that's a pickup you need to try.
I think he's usually at the Fretboard Journal Summit.
Yeah,
If you want to check him out.
yeah,
So
he's in Chicago.
yeah.
Yeah,
Who was the maker of the pickups?
it's Duneland Lab. Here, give me a second here. I can give you guys a number. His name is Bob. So, I don't know why it doesn't. Oh, there we go. Bob Palmieri, his name is. And he's got the website. So, Duneland Labs in one word.com.
All right. We should keep moving. There's definitely another section that I
Oh,
wanted to hit.
that was a very cool project. This is a project I did with this French builder. And we built that guitar just by sketching over the internet, and we had a blast. We just said, let's just go completely nuts. Nothing makes sense. Okay, so we just went nuts on that one. Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah. So it looks like the back and the sides are at least not connected around the perimeter.
Yeah, well, they're floating. I think I put a picture of the interior. It's crazy.
Okay.
It's insanity. Doesn't make sense. Sounded like shit. Didn't matter. We just wanted to
Ah,
create something.
all right. So what's going on? This is the interior of that
Yeah,
guitar.
yeah.
Okay. Wow. And what was on the picture before? What's going on with the neck? There's two little.
Oh, well, no, well, I think, did I put a full size picture of the guitar?
It might be in here. I'm not sure.
These are like the fretboard markers. The French guy, he's just nuts. It's all it's the holes are through the neck.
Hmm.
So there was a lot of running gag, we could put a cigarette through it while you're playing or all kinds of stuff like that. We're just having fun.
Yeah. All right. And is that one of those hammered metal tailpieces or
No,
recon
those are,
stone?
yeah, yeah, recon stones.
Okay.
And I did the sides. I inlaid that into the sides. I actually cut strips of those, and
Mhm.
actually, you can actually bend that stuff.
Hmm.
I was very surprised. I actually was able to bend and inlaid. I think you probably have a picture of it on the sides.
Uh,
Sorry, seems like my screen share is locked up here. Hold on a second. Uh,
Mario, is that a piece of fret wire for the saddle?
I think it is. Yeah, I didn't make that. Jean-Yves did.
Okay. Yeah.
And this
what are
was
the?
these are his name and my name.
Okay.
Hmm.
So if you look at the top, it's BE and then AUREGARD. And then on the other side, it's his name, Alquier. Yeah, we did that for a show in Europe and Paris, and it was a big hit in Paris.
I don't know what's going on. My it's locking up when I'm zooming. I might stop zooming.
Okay.
And the inside of the headstock, that metal piece, that's all 3D printing.
3D printed metal.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, am I to the end of the show?
no.
Oh,
Uh,
there we go.
Yeah.
yeah.
If you look at the center, the oval,
Hmm.
that's a 3D printing.
And so why did you
Let's see.
go that route? Was it because you needed an anchor for
Yeah,
the tuner?
it was the anchor, and we were,
Ah,
Jean-Yves just received his 3D printer, and he wanted to print everything. Uh, It was, like I said, it was just one of those. We just wanted to have fun. Two guys
yeah.
going completely nuts.
Oh, it looks great. So, and you included this picture
Oh,
in the show.
this is how I a lot of the time I work this way with with clients. They send me ideas or reference of colors that they want. So I will do like 2, 3 different variation and then they choose what they want, and then I go for that. And on each sample I write my recipe. So
Hmm, gotcha.
so it's
Uh,
just it's just one of those things that's a restoration I did. It went from
yeah.
that
So
to
there's some pictures that are generally sequential about this restoration. So what happened to this guitar?
uh this poor guy. He has quite an impressive collection, and I think he went on vacation or something, and there was some water damage. So where the guitars were, so he lost quite a few guitars, some very priceless amps and stuff like that. So he basically called me up and almost crying, saying, "Can you salvage that guitar?" And I said, "Well, I'll do the best I can," and I restored the guitar.
All right. And Ian, if you cycle through the pictures, and Mario, if you have any comments about the restoration and what you did.
Well, I went back to my all my so I deconstructed the whole guitar, and the back was salvageable, but not the top. So I had to redo a new top, and I respected all the measurement and the spec of the damaged top. The back I had to, well, I had to strip and deconstruct the whole thing
Hmm.
and rebuild it. And I was able to save the back. Yeah, it was quite the challenge, but I'm happy. And I had to go look through my recipe, and because he wanted the same red, the same everything had to be the same. So I think I came pretty close to what he wanted. He's super happy. So
Yeah.
I had to rebuild the tailpiece, the bridge, all that stuff. So
It's a tremendous amount of work. So was it, price wise, was it close to the cost of a new guitar?
yeah,
Yeah.
his insurance paid for that.
Hmm.
But the thing is, it's kind of funny. I just took my time. I looked at it and just okay. I just didn't dive into it. I just carefully planned it and then just went to work. And it's like once you have the direction, you know what to do, and you know how you're going to do it. You have your match plan, then you just go. And it's kind of funny. It actually went smooth. It didn't it wasn't that bad. It looked it looks worse than what it ended up being,
Yeah.
So
All right. Um, let's see. Bo wants to know, do you keep all your color recipes?
yeah,
Right.
yeah. Everything is in my color book.
Mhm. And this was a brand new tailpiece that matched the original.
Yeah. I
Okay.
basically copied from the original. Yeah.
Hmm.
Everything is hand carved.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Actually, I did one in ebony, and I did one in Brazilian rosewood. And I actually told him, I said, I have everything because the pickup cover was Brazilian rosewood, and the original had the Brazilian rosewood, and the bridge and the tailpiece on the original was ebony, but I had the Brazilian rosewood to work with. So I told him, I says, I made the ebony one, but then I said, let me make one Brazilian rosewood, and then you can choose which one you want. And he actually chose the Brazilian rosewood one.
No, all right. And Mario, don't take this the wrong way, but is that toilet paper on your bench there?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
that's actually Jason Costel's bench.
Oh,
Yeah, I was in Arizona, and I was at the Roberto Event School, and I was just cleaning the guitar up, and yeah, I don't even have half of Jason's chisels. So
yeah. All right. And what are we
that's
looking
another.
at here?
That's
Just a different.
another. Yeah, an original one. Yeah.
Okay. So we have there's more slides, but I wanted to ask you about two other things. One is your relationship with blue guitars, and uh, can you tell us about the project and what you're where you are with the guitar you're making?
Yeah. So basically, I think everybody knows about the Scott Chimmery blue guitar collection, right? Well, I would think so anyway. But if you don't, there was a collection of blue arch tops that was purchased a few years ago. The collection was purchased, and they actually decided to extend the collection. So they got Chris Mirabella, Ken Parker, Megan Well, myself. Uh, long hair. What's his name? Long hair Terry. I can't remember his name. Um,
Tyler Wells?
pardon me?
Tyler Wells?
No, LHT.
Tyler, yeah, Tyler Wells.
Tyler Wells. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, he's part of it too.
I think
So
Danny
Danny,
Comtock.
Danny also. Yeah. So we're doing. I know for sure. I talked to Ken Parker. Ken is myself are doing. We're gonna have the guitar for the Colorado show in September, and they're doing something around it. But I think the aim is that most people are going to have their guitar for that show in
Mhm.
September. And so I'm doing a facet, and I got some. I'm doing some tests right now with the blue, and I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So I'm doing. I don't know if I should say it, because then it's not going to be. Well, the bindings are going to be gold leaves.
Hmm.
And I'm doing tests right now to do blue on top of gold leaf.
Well, sounds very interesting. I can't wait to see it.
So if I see if it works, and if it works, I'm going to be doing something pretty
Yeah.
neat.
So how much like direction did you get for the order? Did you have to make the guitar a certain
Carte
size
blanche,
or
carte
yeah? Okay.
blanche. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Which is I think it's kind of I don't know if it's a debate, but I don't know if it pleases everybody because they're all 17 inches. And now
Mhm.
there's going to be like 16s and 15. I think Megan's guitar is what, a 15, I believe.
Uh, as far as I know, and I know the originals also, they had a very wide nut width.
Yeah. So now it's more standard, it's
Mhm.
yeah, so they're kind of letting us they're giving us freedom when it comes to that. So,
All right.
which I think it's cool. It's cool. It's kind of it's a new, with 30 years later, so it shows the evolution, it shows the impact that it had, and I think it's fun. It's new, it's a fresh air, it's new blood.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's also I think it's an honor to get chosen for it. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, I'm very honored to be able to do it.
Nice. So, uh, well, we've been going for almost an hour and a half. I'd like to kind of open it up for questions at this point from anybody on any subject, anything we've seen in the slideshows.
Just a quick little thing I wanted to
Yeah.
mention.
Mhm.
I've been doing this project with my five apprentice, and Irvin Samaji is part of it too. So we're
Mm.
going to be presenting the guitar in Japan, and I think I've sent you a picture of the rosette that we've done.
Oh, yeah,
And
that is in the slides if we want to do you want to show that?
sure, if you want to.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right.
it's the five of us, including Irvin. We've put this thing together, and the guitar is basically the finish. We're just in the finishing process right now.
Okay.
So
Uh
there you go.
yeah, is this it? Okay. So what's the story here? Is each
Okay,
segment?
so here's the idea. I had the idea to, based on because we all come from the lineage is from Irvin, and even the headstock design has that all these elements. Um, the idea was I was thinking of the segmented rosette, Irvin segmented rosette, to reflect the source, where we all come from. Well,
Mhm.
where I come from anyway, and all my apprentices, obviously you know, they're part of the lineage. So I called Irvin to ask him permission and explain to him. And then the first thing he says, "Ooh, can I be part of this thing?" He was really into it. And that sparked because he's writing his book right now, another book, and it sparked the idea of he's done a poster with all the students and the lineage, like the
Mhm.
family tree type of thing, which I thought was really cool. So I said, of course he can come in, you know. And so he actually sent me a tile, which is the center one. That's Irvin's tile. And each tile represents each builder. And I've inlaid the tiles. So I've sent measurements and everybody was to almost a thousandths of an inch, and Irvin was not even close. So
Yeah,
I
his
think he
does
just,
have a little wider purfling on his.
oh yeah, no, I mean, even the size of I think he just grabbed one of his tile and sent it to me, but that's all good.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so Irvin is in the center, and from the left side on top, that's Doncho. And Keisuke Nishi, Michel Pellerin, Irvin, me, Martin Tremblay, who does a lot of Manouche stuff, and Luca Cesaroni, who is going to be doing all the electronics, and you're going to put the guitar through. He does the oh, what's the name of that machine? Plec. He's
Yeah.
a Plec specialist, so he's going to put the guitar through the Plec. So anyway, and it's being presented in Japan in May.
All right. Exciting. And I can't help but ask what's going on with the electric schematic in that one tile.
That's because that's Luca. He does all the electronics.
Oh, I see.
He
Okay.
does the pickup.
Gotcha.
So each tile represent each other, you know.
Yeah. And what's the rest of the guitar? Is it one of your models or?
It's kind of based on an OM, but it's going to be a quilt. It's a quilted Sapelli, heavily quilted, but it's got it's got a lot of bling bling on it. So
Yeah. Nice. All right. Well, that'd be a great project, and that's going to be at the Osaka show.
at the Osaka show, which you're going to be there, right?
No, I'm
No.
not gonna
Oh,
be going this year, unfortunately. So, yeah.
right. Well, anyway, I just thought I'd plug the project in. Sorry for the plug.
No, 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 absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned it. So, all right. Does anybody have any questions? I've seen quite a variety of guitars. So,
I'll start calling on people. Max, you have a question, don't you, Max? Or at least an observation.
We want to see the motorcycles, enough guitars. No, sorry, I can't ask anything because I actually was gone for most of it. Sorry,
Okay.
I had to go.
There'll be a quiz afterwards, so I hope you're
Max,
really great.
Hey,
Max,
but
you can
Massey,
ask them to repeat.
by the way, Massey, we talked to for the show in Italy.
Uh-huh.
And, we're going to be talking soon because we're talking about John Monteleone, Chris, and myself for next year.
Okay, well, let's
So,
talk.
Yeah,
Well, you'll be at Artisan, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so we'll hang out there. I'll be there too.
Yeah, cool, man.
I have a question.
Go for it.
On your acoustic instruments, have you ever made use of hybrid X lattice bracing below the main X brace?
No.
Any reason for or against?
You're talking about lattice bracing?
Yeah, but a hybrid. So you have the main X brace. Sorry, I see my camera's off. But then you have
Well, the lattice in between the X.
like in between instead of tone bars.
Yeah, I don't like the sound of it.
Okay.
I think they're very they tend to the high mids tend to peak quite a bit with that kind of design, and yeah, I just don't like the mids and of lattice bracing, and especially the one between the X. And the worst is the fan between the X. that goes over the bridge plate. That to me is, but that's my my opinion. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
my opinion. That it's not something that I like personally. I don't prefer that system.
Okay. Thank you.
Mario, we have Bob Abernathy wants to know. I wasn't present for the full talk, but when it comes to hand tools and carving, how much sanding do you reduce from your process? Are you, we're all brought up with the folklore of the violin people never using sandpaper. Are you using sandpaper every once in a while?
Of course, I do a little bit, but yeah, I try to. It takes a long time to really get the scraping under your hand, but to have that finish scrape, that finished result. But yeah, you always sand a little bit anyway. But the idea is not sanding; it's not to pack the grain, the pores. That's one of the things that you try not to do. And well, where I do all the sanding is in the finish process, like the lacquer. And I dread it every time. I hate it with a passion, you know. And every time I try to give it to somebody, it just doesn't work. So it's something I have to do. And I hate it. I hate it with a passion.
Yeah.
I feel it takes forever, And the thing too, like let's say this facet, the thing that I find you can never get a crisp line like a scraper as you can do with like sanding. It's nearly impossible. You can get that really nice crisp line when you use scrapers.
So Mario, I've got a question along those lines. So the guitar is fully prepped. It's about to get the first coat of sealer. So what is the final surface of the wood? Is it sanded or scraped?
It depends. It depends, The sides are completely scraped.
Mm-hmm.
On the arch top, sometimes I have to sand because of the grain. Because you can't help it. Sometimes I can't help having a little bit of that rough compared to the glossy, So sometimes I'll go and fix it up and kind of even things out. But yeah.
Okay, and visually, in the final product, can you see a difference between a area that was scraped versus one that was sanded?
On a spruce top, especially if you have the rays, the modular, they really pop a lot more when you scrape it.
Oh, okay.
It just feels like there's more depth,
You think that's from the absence of grain packing?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That might be it, yeah. I say yes, but but that's my perception is when comparing scraping to sanding, when you put finish on it, it's like, whoa, you have more of it looks deeper.
Michael, you want to use the word? You want to say it? You want to say the word? Tutorials? You want to say it?
Oh, now you beat me to.
Okay. We used to like at Breedlove, we sanded everything out, and then occasionally I got a wild hair, and I would like take compressed air and blow all the dust out of the pores, and it was really interesting. None of those guitars would wind up taking a lot to fill with finish. So whatever I blasted out in dust, I had to add back and finish. The numbskulls of the sales department wanted flat finishes for some reason.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, it's that dust that you pack your pores with. If you put your pore filter on top of that, I mean, the bottom is not solid.
No,
It's going to create even more sinkage.
I would think, yeah.
So because what I do exactly what you just said. I mean, if I do have to sand, I will spray the hell out of it. I mean, air blow it, try to clean as much as I can. So, and the pore filler that I use, I think I talked about it to Michael and a couple of guys, and that stuff gets really hard. And man, you can scrape that thing like glass. It's amazing. It's really amazing.
Yeah, actually, I gave a little demo of the two-part pore filler that you gave me. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Poly
Chill
something, yeah.
Chill epoxy. Was that
No, it's
no? Okay.
anyway, it's that you're talking about the paste, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So another question. Are you spending any time raising the grain at all as a finish prep?
Nope.
The same. Can I really quickly, how do you go about sharpening your just your regular card scrapers? Do you do it on a file, on whetstones, on
No, well, I do it on my I can never make Tarmac, yeah. Tormac. Can never remember the name of that
Yeah.
company. But anyway, yeah, I do it. I have the platform that I use that you can tilt or whatever, and then you just go over it, and it's pretty quick. So I have two kinds I do. I do like for my finishing, but when I just want to honk like get that material off fast, I just do the file. I don't even burr it, I just do the file and just if I want just material to take this material off fast, I scrape it off. But then if I do my final stuff, that's when I use my Tormek, and I just I sharpen my
yeah. We need to have a segment on scrapers at some point. We haven't really tackled them, and there's a lot of depth in there, and they're I believe they're underutilized because I don't feel like very many people really know how to sharpen them.
But once you get that under your hand, like once you use that, and I I couldn't even imagine not working with scrapers.
Yeah.
I can't. It's not even part of my reality. It's like, I mean, I depend on these things like crazy.
Do you think you grab scrapers where a lot of people would grab even like chisels? Like, do you just feel a lot more comfortable with the scraper, or do you? I don't know. Maybe that's an odd question, but
Well, let me see if I understand correctly your question. Are you asking me, do I feel as comfortable using a chisel and using scrapers on the same level? Is that what you're
yeah.
asking?
Well, I would think like sometimes there's like gray areas where maybe you'd grab one tool or another, like to go after something. Like, I don't know. It's probably a dumb question, but
No, it's not actually. It's a good question. Uh, chisels, they're like for most of us, it's like an extension, right?
mhm.
It's like it's a natural thing. We don't even think about them anymore. We just once, I'm talking about somebody that's been doing it for a long time, But scrapers are at the same level for me. They have the same. They're just. It's as natural to use a scraper to me as using a chisel or a plate. It's like I couldn't live without any of those.
Mhm.
Those are my tools. So, and I see a lot of people like I've seen people like never use them. They only sand everything. They sand everything. It's like, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not only the quality of the work once you get it done. It's the pleasure you get out of it. There's something about it. When you're scraping a piece of rosewood, it's just you can feel that and you feel the heat through the scraper and all that. Man, that's almost visceral, It's like there's something about it that just wow. I don't know.
What do you like for burnishing? Do you use any? I was brought up guy who taught me how to do it would take some grease off the end of his nose and put it along the steel and then burnish with that. But then he was like, if you don't have that, you can, if you don't feel like being gross, you can use paste wax. But I always wondered if is that a thing, or had you ever heard of it, anything like that?
Well, when I sharp my on my machine, like when I sharp, I don't need to. They're like they're sharp. They're very sharp.
So no burnishing.
No, I don't need to.
Cool.
Because it creates a very very sharp edge.
So when you're sharpening on the machine, is the edge 90 degrees, or are you putting a bevel on it?
No. It's perfectly 90 degrees. I have these plates, you know. So basically, you know, if you look, they're not that thick, but I'm going to exaggerate the thickness of it, and I'm going to exaggerate the there you go. See, the scraper, this is the wheel, right? Because the wheel's coming toward you, and you put your scraper on the plate and you just go against the wheel like this, right? So on the edge, on the outside edge where you scrape, in the center, it's you can't really see it because it's so thin, but it actually is like this because of
Infinitely small.
because of the stone, you know. You can't see it visually, but that's how it is. But and then the edges, you'd be surprised, but the edges of your scraper will be super sharp.
And are you using the 250 diamond wheel on the Tormek?
I couldn't even tell you. I'm using the one that I bought the machine with, you know. So like my chisel, I do my chisel and then I finish them on a polishing Japanese stone. So
Oh, thank you for that. Really appreciate that.
but yeah, I mean, I would encourage anybody to just go for it. You know, learn how to use the scrapers. Once you use those, that's it. Especially when you do the sides of the guitar. Oh man, that's awesome. You know, when you clean the bindings and all that, is just a joy.
How do you, speaking of that, how do you fix your guitar when you're scraping out with the facets like that? Are you like hand holding it and scraping, or do you have a way to get that into a vise to hold on to?
I have that. I think it was De Young that had that. You know that it's on the floor and it's like a carousel that you put the guitar in and then you.
A Troji.
Troji, yeah, that's what I use.
Cool.
Was that your question? How I'm
It
holding?
was
Okay.
Once you have all the facets on there, it seems like I'd be loath to put any pressure on either the top or the back
Yeah.
in any way,
But you'd be surprised, man, how the top and the back the top is very stiff with the facets.
well,
You know, and it's very active. You know, you tap on it and you can really feel it. So yeah, I don't have that many in my shop. I don't have that many jigs, you know, and but I'm starting to. I've been talking to shit, what's his name? He was here earlier. The CNC kid.
Tom Dowling.
Who?
Tom.
Yeah, Dahlia, right? Dahlia?
Yeah.
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 So, you know, I'm thinking of maybe taking a course and everything just to get most of the work out so I can concentrate on the final part of it, because I have to be honest, man. You know, I'm going to be 58 next week, and been doing this for 30 years now, and I'm starting to really feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially the carpal tunnel, and you know, sometimes I get I get fatigued a lot more, and I have to if I want to preserve myself, you know, and wanted to do this for many years, I'm thinking of, you know, at least bring it up to maybe 60, 70% at least, you know, and then finish the rest.
Do you do any like preventative PT kind of stuff to, because you're absolutely right, like grabbing hold of those scrapers and hogging material off, that's pretty, you know, joint intensive.
It for me, it's the planes.
Yeah.
They're small, small planes, and you have to close your hand, and then you have to hike it, you know, tight, and then maple. It's like, that's, man, it's brutal. You know, so yeah.
Do you do any yoga or anything to start out the day, or any kind of preventative kind of stuff like that?
The only thing I do is call caffeine.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
No, I know. I should take care of myself more like for that type of thing.
Get a CNC and then do whatever you want. That's what I say.
Well, the way I look at it, I mean, you know, it's a router.
Yeah, 100%.
So, you know, as long as you finalize everything by hand, it's still handmade, you know. So, and I think, you know, there's no such CNC that does the whole thing 100%. You still got to put some grease, elbow grease
That's right.
behind it. So, I don't know. I kind of I felt for many years, I thought, you know, because most people know I do everything by hand. And so I kind of felt like I would cheat or not be true to myself. But then I realized, you know, there's a reality to it, you know, and if I want to prolong things, you know, and I'm at a point now, I don't even mind talking about it, you know, like saying, well, you know, I use CNC up to a certain point, and then
I mean, a lot of people have been using duplicators for the longest time, and nobody really had it.
I don't even use that.
No, I know. I said many people, not you, but you know.
This is my duplicator, you know. So
How's that on the hands, by the way? Is the vibration get to you from that, or is that
it's the weight too, you know. And,
is that the
been,
chainsaw wheel on the angle grinder?
pardon me?
Is that the chainsaw wheel on the angle grinder?
Yeah. And there's no guard. I don't have any guards. I can't work with the guard.
Yeah.
So, you know, I count my blessing, you know, I still have my fingers. But you know, I don't do the same anymore, but when I for years and years and years when I would do a carving session with this machine, I would actually put the heaviest metal I could find, listen to some really heavy shit, and just blast it like all the way up, you know. And I would carve with big heavy metal, and it just put me in that mood for some reason. I don't know. You know, and then when you do your carving, you put a little bit of light jazz or whatever. So yeah, just have fun doing it. That's what I try to do. But now physically, I'm starting to struggle.
Hey Mario,
this changed my life.
What's that?
My glasses.
Ah, very stylish, by the way.
Thank you. Well, I the last few years I'm going, what the hell? How did I miss that? You know, like especially if people would take pictures of it, how the hell did I miss that? Or what? And I would, you know, scratch and everything, and what the hell's going on? And I thought I was losing it. I thought I was okay. I just don't have what it takes anymore. I'm done. I'm over the hill. I can't do this anymore. And then I realized that somebody said, well, maybe you should go and check your eyes. Yeah. And when I put the glasses on, I went, oh, I can see. And it actually completely changed everything for me. Like, wow, I can see. So
Hey Mario, Michael, I gotta run. I just wanted to say how delightful this was to listen to. Thank you so much for doing it. Thank you for doing it, Michael, and thank you for joining us, Mario. It's Doug Proper. I just wanted to say, hey, and thank you.
All right,
well,
thank you, Doug.
I'll see you in at the artisan show.
We're hoping to. We're still figuring that out, but hope to. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope I wasn't too boring, but
Oh, it was
This
awesome.
was not boring at all. This was really good. And yeah, should we end it, Michael? It seems like a good spot. Doug kind of helped us out
Yeah,
there.
Doug basically poured water on the fire. So
Did I
Could I ask a
You
question?
guys can keep going, but I just want you to know the important guys leaving. Okay.
yeah.
is it Paul
All
that
right.
did I think
Give
Paul?
Yeah,
give
if you don't mind, sorry,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
an
go ahead.
open-ended question, but I know you've taught a lot of people and your workmanship seems to be, stellar. And just if you have any thoughts about, I guess, improving your workmanship, the basic workmanship from kind of like starting out to a professional level, if you had thoughts about how you would, observe people doing that as apprentices and whatnot. I don't know if that question makes sense.
You know, one of the things I know that I'm glad you asked that because a couple of my students told me the one thing they remember coming from my shop is that, first of all, it's not a race. You just take your time and you have to think about it. But if you make a mistake and you're not happy with it, just start over. Just do it over again until you're happy. Just because there's no, it's not a race. Oh, I gotta finish. That's what's gonna kill you, So the thing is, I always told my students, if you're not happy with a miter or you're not happy with a joint, do it again. Just do it again, and don't worry because that's part of the learning development. That's it's part of the learning curve, and you learn how to. You master your craft more and more, the more you learn how to hide your mistakes, because we all make mistakes. We still make mistakes. There's no such thing as 100% perfect guitar. That does not exist. And if somebody tells me it does, well, okay, fine. But I don't believe you. It just doesn't, even if everything is cut with CNC, there's always, even if it's minute, there's something that always goes weird somewhere or whatever, and it's how you hide things and it's how you fix things and never panic. You don't panic. Everything is fixable and it's just wood, man. It's just wood, so yeah. And if you keep that in mind and try to find ways of letting the stress out of the shop. Don't stress out of things, man. Just remember, it's just wood. And if you fuck it up, you'll fix it. That's all there is to it. And that's actually a lot of the time we look at our mistakes like a bad thing, and I think the opposite. It's like it's a good thing because then you've learned how to fix something. And the more you do that, the smaller the mistakes become, Or when you do a big one, it's a major one, So, but you fix it.
That's how inlays were born.
Pardon me?
That's how inlays were born.
Yeah, well,
Fixing up mistakes.
yeah, it's part of the game, man. But it's also part of the fun. You have to own your mistakes. And that's what makes you who you are, and you have to, don't be afraid of trying.
Just to dig in on that a little bit, I feel like you're saying two things, which I think is the dichotomy. One is to fix all your mistakes, go back and redo things. And I think then the other element is finishing instruments that are going to be ultimately imperfect and then making another one. Is that reasonable?
Well, perfection does not exist.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just how you're going to learn how to to harmonize all these imperfection, you know.
Cool. Thank you.
So, and it's a great craftsman is one that can hide his mistakes. That's why like the guys that if you talk to the great ones that do restorations, the great restoration, we're talking about big league, very valuable instruments, and the guys that are, the one thing they all say in common is that you have to be invisible. You have to be invisible. That's the sign of a great restoration. So it's the same principle, it's just you learn how to hide your mistakes. And you become creative doing it. And it will spawn other things, other methods or other ideas. And then I know how I'm going to approach this new idea because based on some of the mistakes you've done in the past. You have to be creative. So
thank you.
Yeah. Bottom line, don't stress out. Have fun. Because we tend to forget why we're doing this, and it's supposed to be fun at the same time, we're in our living. And I think if you have fun, if you build a guitar in a relaxed way and fun way, it's going to transpire. Even the player, people feel it. You can feel it through the work, And that's the goal, right? To make people happy also. So anyway.
Awesome.
Cool.
Everybody unmute and thank Michael Bashkin and Mario Beauregard for this great time that we spent with each other. Thank you very much, fellas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias,
Thank you.
Michael. Gracias, Mario. Thanks a lot.
Ciao.
Thanks, Michael and Mario.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for all you guys' patience for listening to us, to me.
It was awesome.